on this lovely Northeast Ohio day with all the rain. But you know what? It could be snow. So I'm Janice Lapina. I'm with NeoLaunchNet, and I want to welcome all of you to FEBE, which is a collaborative business networking group that NeoLaunchNet and the Small Business Development Center in Glide has come together to put on a weekly basis. And we have our sponsor, Dunkin' Donuts, from across the street that's been sponsoring this every Wednesday, so it's pretty exciting. I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to Jim Dostall?
Dostall, yes.
Dostall, very good, of Dostall Farms, and he's going to go ahead and tell you about business success and tell you about his business. So, Jim, okay. It's all yours.
All right, thank you. All right, good morning, everyone. I would like to thank Ricky for helping me out here today. Ricky's actually in my B&I group, and he invited me here to come speak today. And so I just want to thank you, Ricky. I really appreciate that. I'm a little nervous today. This is kind of out of my comfort zone. So we'll get through this, and I'm going to try to make this fun and entertaining at the same time, and hopefully learn from you folks as well as you learn from me. So my name is Jim Dostall. I own and operate Dostall Farms along with my wife. So before I get into the real meat of my presentation today, I got a little story for you, and it's kind of entertaining, but it's also kind of really relevant to my topic today, which is building relationships and building your business, okay? 5th and 6th grade, I had my first job. I was a carrier for the Lorain Chronicle Telegram, okay? Back in the day, a lot of you young folks in here don't realize that we used to deliver papers door to door. That was my job. I would get home from school. I had a bundle of papers. I would bundle the papers up into a nice little thing, put a rubber band around them. I would run around the neighborhood on my bicycle and deliver newspapers. I think it paid, I want to say it was $10 a week, okay? On Thursdays was always collecting day. I would always have to go door to door, knock on the door. Hello, Mrs. So-and-so. You know, it's a Chronicle boy, I'm collecting. They had little rings. Anybody remember this? They had little rings with a little thing you had to punch, you know, collect the money and do all that stuff. So that was my very first job. 5th and 6th grade, I was a Chronicle Telegram paper boy. Fast forward a little bit. In 1987, I started working for a company called Invacare here in Elyria. And you guys are all familiar with Invacare, correct? 87, I started working there. Kind of assumed that my life would be a career at Invacare, and that someday I would eventually retire from Invacare. So my life has kind of been connected this whole time, okay? And I'm going to take you back here in a second, and once I get to the end, you'll understand the whole thing. 1995, or let's see, 1992, I met my wife on a blind date. 1995 and 97, we started our family. As usual, we were interested or concerned about what our kids would be eating. So 95 and 97, my daughters were born, both of which are in college now. So at that time, we started buying beef and pork from a friend of mine. After a couple weeks or a couple months, he said, well, why don't you just raise your own? So I put a barn up in the backyard, and I started raising my own beef. So it was always something we just did on the side and kind of as, you know, just something for some extra money here and there. But we did it more because we were concerned about what we were eating. So we get to be, let's see, 2012. 2012, I get a call from my boss at the time at Invacare, and he calls me into his office. It's on a Thursday. He had been there 35 years. Calls me in his office, and he says to me, Jim, he says, tomorrow is my last day. He said, they called me in the office today, and they said, you either quit tomorrow or you're fired tomorrow. And that was it. There's not going to be any party. There's not going to be any grand send-off or nothing. 35 years, you're done, okay? So the story goes like this. I was his mom and dad's paper boy. So we had this relationship. So he looks at me and he says, gave me the best advice of my life. He said, in about 6 months, they're going to offer buyouts. He said, after 35 years here, I know people. I know a lot of people. I've built a lot of relationships. He said, my advice is to you, you take that buyout. Because after that, it's going to get messy, and you're not going to want to be here. June 8th, 2012, I walked out the doors with my dream of becoming a full-time business owner and farmer, and that was it. I walked out. I looked at it as my chance in my late 40s to do what had always been my dream, but never had the guts and the push to go do it. So, I left Invacare in June of 2012, started the business up full-time. I'm now a full-time farmer. By August of 2012, I'm in total panic mode. Because you have to realize something. All them years in a shop like that, you learn a lot of things. One thing you don't learn is how to run a business. So here I am. I'm looking at P&L statements and all this different stuff, and I quickly realized that I did not know what I was doing, and that if I did not get my act together, we were going to fail rather quickly. So I started this idea of building relationships, okay, and building your business through relationships. I really felt that that was really important. One of the first things I did was I decided I'm going to take some money and I'm going to build a website. I was lucky enough to have my friend that built my website for me actually trade a half a beef for my website. So, because I didn't have the money to build a website, to pay the $4 or $5 grand it took to build one. So he did it for me. At the time, he also gave me some very good advice. He said, you need to be in a BNI group. So I joined Business Networking International, which I realize is somewhat of a rival group to this, okay? But it was very important that I joined that group because I didn't have a lot of the knowledge and the skill that it took to run a business. So now here I am, 4 years later, and I have my accountants in my BNI group, my business coaches in my BNI group, my web design, my graphic design, my insurance guy. All the knowledge that I had or I didn't have was right there in front of me. And that's why I think that this kind of environment is so important for business owners to build these relationships. I cannot tell you how many times I sat in meetings with our one-to-ones with my actual BNI partners, and I said, man, here's where I'm at. I'm really, really struggling with this. And they turn around and go, I've been through that 3 years ago. Here's what you got to do. And they tell you how to get through these hurdles that you have as a business owner. So BNI, this FEBE group, stuff like this is so important for business owners, for that support group. Okay, so I really believe in this. I believe in this concept. I can stand here and tell you that I would not be in business today if it was not for my BNI group and the support from the people in that group. So I'm going to get into the things here a little bit. We sell, Dostall Farms, we sell beef, pork, poultry, brown eggs, honey, maple syrup, and lamb. We direct market, direct sell directly to our customers, okay? We do not sell to grocery stores, auction houses, anything like that. If you come to our farm, you're not going to see silos and big combines and all that kind of stuff. We focus entirely on a finished product that is a food product that is consumable. We try to grow the absolute best product that you're ever going to have. Our goal is when somebody eats one of our steaks, they go, wow, that is the best steak I've ever had. So that's what we try to do. We really focus on the quality of our products, okay? So building relationships. And again, if anybody has anything relevant to this conversation, please raise your hand and throw it out there, okay? As a business owner, I wasn't much of a salesman. I didn't look at myself as a salesman. I really believed in this really simple concept. Have an outstanding product, outstanding customer service, and build a relationship and let the product sell itself. That was my whole vision for what I was going to do. Now, I realize in some areas that's just not possible. Depends on what you're selling. But for us, we seem to have pretty good success with it. So how we build in relationships. We started with farm tours. We feel as though that our farm is totally accessible. We have nothing to hide. So we have farm tours. We bring people in, we show them what we're doing, show them the pigs, the cows, all that stuff. And we do that. We do any kind of trade shows we can get into, we do them. We try to build a relationship any way we possibly can, okay? So not only do we try to build business to customer relationships, but we also try to build business to business relationships. So a couple things we did, we tried doing our own honey a couple years ago. Every winter when it got down to 0 degrees, all my bees died. It was a disaster. Okay, so I found a woman in New London, partnered with her, and we now sell her honey for her. Her business is called Honeybee Treasures. It's turned out to be a great resource for us. She's referring us to people. We're selling her honey, and then we actually tell the people, listen, if you like it that much, don't buy it from here, go directly to her. So we're actually sending customers her way, and we're kind of both growing our businesses together. Another relationship that we built was our maple syrup. This is our syrup that we sell. A local high school kid started his own business. It's called Red Barn Maple Syrup. We actually sell his products for him on our website, and anytime we can. And again, it's turned into a really good relationship. We're kind of both growing together. So in the fall, he'll go to college, and we'll keep working with him. We'll keep that relationship, and hopefully we can all grow together through that. So building relationships anywhere you can. That's the main focus. Okay. The next thing we want to do is we want to try to create a sense of belonging, a sense of community, a sense of loyal trust that customers have in us. That's what we want to do. So how do we build a sense of community? One way we do it is when people come out on Saturday mornings to pick up their product. What we do is we offer a little mini tour of the farm. And again, we have nothing to hide. So we have some customers that show up on Saturday mornings and they pull in the SUV and it's grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, 6 kids, and they just come out and here they go. And they're running through the farm and checking everything out. But it's nice because my kids, if they're home from college, can take the little kids, show them all the baby pigs and stuff and show them everything. And then it gives us as a business owner and the customer to actually have some one-on-one time. We can walk them through the barn. We can show them why we do what we do. We can show them why our stuff is better than grocery store stuff. So it's a great opportunity to create that sense of belonging, a sense of trust and loyal that you need from your customers. So we do that. And again, the whole idea is we want our customers to feel like they're part of something special. We don't want them to, there's enough going to the grocery store and just buying your stuff and walking out. We really want them to feel like they're really part of something special. So, first is build. Second is create a sense of belonging. And the next thing we want from them is we want them to become. We want them to become lifelong customers, okay? So become is actually, if you look in a thesaurus, it's change. You're trying to change that person. So, how do you get them to change? Sometimes it's difficult. I mean, people like going to the grocery store. It's convenient. They don't have to buy a freezer to buy a half a beef or a half a hog. So we have to create that over a period of time. So we start with something small, like we offer a sample pack. $175, you get all this product. You can try it, see what you think. And then if you want to buy a freezer and become a customer, and then that's good. That's what we want. But getting them to become lifelong customers, there's a change process. Some people are not used to this. Some people are not used to walking into a barn and seeing an animal and then realizing that it's going to be on their dinner plate in a couple weeks. Some people, it's just not for them. So If that's the case, then fine. Don't come in there. We don't want to show you the animals, you know what I mean? So they're not pets, okay? It is a process. So that's how that works, okay? So we want them to change. We want them to be lifelong customers, okay? So I'm kind of running quick here. I'm going a little fast, but we okay? Okay. So going forward then, what we do, like I said, we want them to become lifelong customers. Okay, if I had to wrap this up with a conclusion, like a conclusion statement, and I'm not sure how I get this up here, Ricky. How do we do it again? There you go. Okay. Our whole objective of this whole process that we go through is we want to get our customers to become lifelong friends that actively recruit new customers for you and your business because they believe in you and your products. That's really what it all boils down to. They have to believe in us, they have to trust us, and they have to want to be part of something bigger and special, bigger than themselves and special. And that's the whole idea behind what we do. We don't try high pressure sales. We don't actively go out and just try to sell stuff to people. We're not like that. We just draw them in slowly. Again, we believe in our products. We believe in what we do. And we believe that over a period of time, once they try our products, they're going to be hooked and they're going to be there for a long time. So part of that also goes along with the educating. And this is like looking further down the road. But when we bring mom and dad in and we get to show them things and show them why we do things, it's a great opportunity to educate the kids, which are going to be our next generation of customers. So mom and dad aren't going to be around forever, but them kids are going to hopefully buy local when they get older. So they'll realize the importance of buying local, buying from local businesses and supporting local businesses. So, that went quick. I rehearsed it at home 30 times and it never went that quick, so. Yes.
So you said you built partnerships with different companies since you started. In the beginning, was that in your original business plan? Were you thinking you were going to partner and actually push other brands with yours, or were you thinking you were going to do it all yourself, put your labels, your brands on it, and it's kind of changed over time?
It changed over time. Yeah, I originally thought I would have my own version of honey and syrup and stuff like that. But I quickly found out that I couldn't do it all. There's enough to do with just taking care of cows and pigs and all of that kind of stuff and trying to do marketing and different things. And then you just can't, there's just not enough time in a day. And like I said, we tried the honeybees, me and a friend of mine, and 3 years in a row we lost our bees. And we were just banging our heads against the wall. We couldn't figure out what was going on, why they were dying and stuff. It was basically, I think the really cold winters just took a toll on them, stressed them out and stuff. But yeah, I didn't, I wanted to have everything Dostall Farms. But then I quickly realized that I couldn't do that. There was just not enough time in a day. And it's better to have partners because we're building that relationship. And like I said, I sell the honey and the maple syrup on the website. So there's people that are going in Google and they're searching for honey and stuff like that, and they're finding me. So then I've had several customers that have actually bought beef and pork and stuff because they were looking for honey. So, yes.
I was just curious, is business strictly family run, or do you employ people that help you run it?
No, we are strictly family run. I have a couple kids that help out sometimes, a couple local football players that are big, strong kids if I need help with something. But for the most part, it's just me and my wife and my kids when they're home from school.
As far as like the beef aspect of it, is like self-sustaining as far as the grazing and feeding the cattle and so forth, or do you have to bring in outside resources?
We grow some feed. We have some pastures that we rent. My actual farm itself is only 4 acres. So we have to rent some pasture. I do not grow any corn or beans, so I have to buy all that from a local farmer, from a local feed mill, if you will. So, yes?
I'm reading here, making
Okay.
Land, $11.99 per pound on hang weight. What's a hang weight?
The way it works is if you look on here, let's look at beef. Our beef is $3.99 a pound.
Right.
Okay, that is cut, wrapped, frozen, vacuum sealed, labeled in the box for your freezer. The animal it's too hard to weigh out all your individual cuts, so it goes on the hang weight. So once the animals start the process, you have 800 pounds on the hang weight. Okay, if you buy a quarter beef, you're going to have 200 pounds times $4 basically. And that'll be your price on a quarter of beef. The processing is included in that price. So it's too hard to just try to, do everything by cuts. You'd have to weigh everything, and it's just too much. So everything goes by the hang weight. Yes.
What variety of beef do you have? Is it Angus? Is it something else?
Oh boy. We raise almost all white-faced Herefords. So if you guys drive down the road and you see the brown and white cows with the white face, those are white-faced Herefords. We raise almost exclusively white-faced Herefords. Some mix, some Angus cross, some Limousine cross, but mostly the Herefords. So, well, as you can tell, I get a little emotional about this sometimes because I am very passionate about it. But I talked to Dennis Willis, who's in my BNI group, and he's an action coach. But he made the comment to me several times. You're not selling a product. You're really selling yourself. And building that relationship, I think, is the first part of selling yourself. So people have to like you. They have to trust you. They have to trust in your products and what you're doing.
And it's a process, the building, the relationship building.
Yes.
In the Sheffield chapter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a process. Takes
Yes.
the time. You're not gonna have
Yep.
things. But thank you for sharing.
Okay.
with
Yes.
us.
So I have two questions. Do people have to call and pre-order the items or?
Yes. We have products going all the time. It's one of the challenges of running the business is knowing enough cows and enough pigs to buy to keep things moving. So we have animals going all the time, basically. So if you called and or you went online and placed an order for a quarter beef, once I have 3 other people that order a quarter beef, then I'll call you and I'll say that animal's going in on Sunday night, and your pickup's going to be 2 weeks later on a Saturday morning. So then
Always Saturday mornings, is that the only hours you're open?
I could do it on a Friday night, we do, but Saturday mornings just works the best because that's when we go to the processor and box everything and make sure everything's correct and do that. So, yeah. Yes, Kurt.
What do you see for your future, and how do you plan for it?
Well, right now we're at the point where we realize we have to have more customers. So we're really trying some marketing this year, trying to do some different things. A couple ideas I have, and I've just kind of got these out of nowhere. I don't actually, but this is a flyer that I just had printed up. My graphic designer printed this and did everything. So we're trying to get new customers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that into a 3-way, so you can either see this part or you're going to see the cow's face. And then I hired some kids, and they're going to drive around mom and dad's neighborhoods, and they're going to put them in the paper boxes. And we're going to try that. We're going to target some areas, try to get some new customers that way. But I see our business growing. We have the type of business where once people try us, and like I said, once we get to change them over to become customers and believe in what we're doing, they usually are customers for life. When I started this, I want to say we had probably about 30 to 40 customers. Now I have about 160 full-time customers. So we're moving a lot of beef and a lot of pork. So, but we want to move more. So we're actually looking at probably within the next 2 or 3 years buying a bigger place because we're gonna quickly outgrow where we're at. So, yes.
Can you talk a little bit about, I think your story with Invacare, I think is unfortunately extremely common, especially as people get into their, even
talk a little bit about a little bit more about your transition there, and when you said, okay, now I'm walking out the door, I'm going to pursue my business interests. How did you support your family? How did you get the capital to start? You know, what was your transition like there? And obviously, probably a lot of sleepless nights. But talk a little bit about that.
Well, I supported my family for 6 months because they offered me a 24-week buyout. So part of the severance package was I got paid for 24 weeks, which was a big part of it. The other way I did it was I basically cashed in my 401k. Every bit. So
That's a pretty firm commitment.
it was a gamble. It was a gamble. But you know what? At the time, I believed the best investment I could make was in myself. So, cashed it in. Paid the penalties and went for it. So, yes, sir.
Curious as far as your marketing, and I don't know how well you track the numbers on that, but you know, like the breakdown of word of mouth versus web presence versus flyers if you're trying that sort of thing. So what's more effective for you?
Our biggest thing is word of mouth for us. We have a lot of customers. If you look on the website, if you go on there, there's a lot of testimonials. We have several customers that get sick from grocery store meat, mostly because of what they put in it. So we don't put any of that stuff in our products. So if you look at some of our testimonials, they actually say, hey, you know what, I'm eating beef and pork again, first time in years. So word of mouth is big for us. And the website has been really big for us. With the people that use Google as much as they do now, and they're searching for pretty much everything on their phones, if our search engine optimization is really good for us. We get a lot of business through that, and it's been really good for us. So, yes, over here.
Do you target relationships with restaurant owners?
At one time I tried, quickly found out that they want massive amounts of specific cuts, and we just couldn't do it. They wanted all the steaks. Well, what am I going to do with all the rump roasts and the ground meat and everything else? You know what I mean? So we quickly decided that we really wanted to direct market, direct sell directly to families. So, yeah. Yes?
On your list here, it says all natural, no antibiotics, no growth hormones. I don't see anything that says certified organic. What was your thinking about? Are you certified organic, or you haven't gone that far? Why did you move forward with it?
Good question. So right now, in the United States agriculture industry, there's a lot of people out there pushing non-GMO. Okay, you've all heard of that, the GMO stuff, crazy. Everybody's going all crazy about the GMO. Okay, as an individual, I will tell you to research as much as you can about this product, because or the others, this field, because there is so much stuff out there that is not true. A lot of it is true. A lot of it's twisted. The stats, they twist them, and you know how it is. But so we are not certified organic. Okay, certified organic means you have to be 5 years of no insecticides, no pesticides, no GMOs, anything. It's really hard to get a certification for organic. If I label my products, or if I try to sell my products as certified organic and I'm not, I get in a lot of trouble from the government. They can shut me down, and okay. So we are no antibiotics, no hormones, any of that stuff. I did not get this certification for organic. It takes 5 years. It's a process, and you really have to focus to a really certain market for that. But so right now you have all these groups that are really pushing non-GMO, and the USDA has stepped in and said, listen, we're not having a non-GMO category. We've already got it. It's called certified organic. If you want to be non-GMO, get the certification. Takes 5 years, get it, and you can be organic. I'm I personally don't see the advantage of being certified organic, other than the fact that I'm going to charge $9.99 for a pound of hamburger. And my customers have pretty much said that they don't want to pay that. As far as GMO is concerned, a lot of people don't realize this, but right now, only about 6 or 7% of the entire Ohio corn crop is actually a GMO. And of that 6 or 7%, about 92%, I believe it is, actually goes to the production of ethanol. So there's a very, very slim chance that any GMO corns are getting into livestock feeds. Now, depending on where you look, there's a lot of people that are twisting those numbers and trying to really scare people into how bad the GMOs are and all that kind of stuff. I know for a fact that where I buy my feed, I tell my guy, listen, you do whatever you can to get me non-GMO corn. Is it 100% without a doubt every kernel of corn comes through there? Maybe not. But I'm pretty sure that there's no GMO corn going into our products. But I'm not going to try to scare people with GMO horror stories and all that stuff. I believe in my products. People that try them believe in it. So, I mean, does that answer your question, or?
Jim?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'm short. I was a war communications specialist, so Army then diplomat, and so now I make all natural homemade goods like homemade laundry detergent and Spa sea salt and hand wash and that sort of thing. How did you know what you need to do legally to, like, if you're doing homemade goods, like obviously you do food, who did you go to find out what legally you need to do to make this legit, to be able to sell it, pay taxes and all that jazz?
Okay. Well, let's talk about, like, this stuff here is pretty much covered on its own. It doesn't. There's really not any regulations for that kind of stuff, for like the maple syrup and honey. If you're talking like beef and pork, the way it works is if I'm going to take it like to say a farmer's market and stuff like that, and I'm going to sell my products, they have to be labeled, they have to be weighed, they have to be marked for individual sale. So it adds cost. Okay. So what we do is the USDA has said if you sell direct to the customer, and if they're buying it straight from the processor, okay, then I can sell it to that person the way I'm doing it. So what happens is we take an animal in, okay? That animal is inspected 100%. All the beef, all the pork inspected 100% for, I think, 14 different viruses and different stuff. Okay, so that's one of the advantages of buying local is you get, there's a USDA inspector on site every time they kill an animal on the kill floor. So you get that inspection. All right, once it's inspected and it's for my individual customer, that product can come to my farm, and then as long as I take it from my truck and put it right in his vehicle, then we're fine. It doesn't have to be labeled for resale or anything like that because they're buying in bulk. So USDA has said that's fine. Now I'll tell you what, if they take that product and go around the corner and start selling it, then I'm in trouble. And so are they. You can't do that. And it has to be frozen. So I can't sell like fresh, you know what I mean? When you deal with that kind of quantities, it goes into a huge super freezer, and it freezes basically overnight. So like I said, when it comes to them, it's frozen on that Saturday morning. Yeah.
Is the certified organic process difficult?
Yeah, you have to, it takes about 5 years. The government inspectors will come to your farm roughly about every 6 months, and they go through your entire process. If you're growing corn, they'll go through your fields, they'll do soil samples, all kinds of stuff. You can't use any insecticide, any pesticides. There's only certain fertilizers you can use. It's a really lengthy, hard process to get it, and that's part of the reason certified organic costs as much as it does.
Are there any fees in regards to that?
I'm not sure. For me, it just seemed like a lot. I mean, I would have to get a new guy to make my feed, and it's really hard to a lot of your certified organic guys are guys that have, you know, big farms. Mom and dad passed away, and they left the farm to the son, and he's got it, and he's going to say, I'm going to try a niche market. I'm going to do certified organic. Everything's pretty much, he's got everything there to make the process work. And then he has to find somebody willing to pay that kind of money.
Like that could be the reason for the high cost of organic food.
It is. Yeah, the government, all the certifications and stuff you have to go through, yeah, it is the price. That's what drives it up. Yep. Yeah, Kurt.
How much of your product, your meat product, do you actually raise on your farm versus just buying and taking to
All of it.
slaughter? Okay, all of it.
All of it. Yep.
So you have your own breeding program?
No, typically what we do, like with the poultry, we'll buy the peeps. We put them in incubate, you know, little heated rooms and stuff. Typically in 8 weeks, the chicks are full grown, they're ready to go, and they go to the processor. The pork is we buy from a local guy that's not far from us. We buy basically 25, 30-pound piglets. When we buy them, they're weaned, tails docked, everything's ready to go. Bring them home, put them in the feeder, and just put them on feed. And the same thing with the cattle. We do not have like a big, you know, like brood cows, which are cows that you keep around just to have calves. I have 3 guys that I work with. They're all local, and I trust their quality and I trust their stock. I know I'm not getting sick animals. We don't go to auctions and buy animals because you get sick animals that come through there, and it's just a disaster. You might get a cow cheap at an auction, but you get it home and you got $400 in vet bills just trying to keep the thing alive. So we don't do that. We got 3 breeders. We work with them, and we buy all of our cows strictly through them. So
White, brown eggs, and not white eggs?
it's just a breed. Some chickens lay white eggs. Some chicken lay brown eggs.
Green ones?
I got green ones, yeah, at home, yeah. I didn't bring any. Yeah, my buddy bought a bunch of chickens, and he's like, oh, yeah, they're all brown egg layers, and they were all laying white eggs. I gave him the wrong thing, I guess. So. But, well, that's my presentation. Again, I hope you guys learned something, and I look forward to the next 20 minutes here, hopefully learning something from you guys. If there's anything you want to tear me up about this, listen, I love criticism. Okay, so if anybody's got anything to say to me after the meeting, hey, that was nice, or hey, you kind of stunk it up in that part, let me know. Make me a better speaker. So I'm open for criticism. So thank you.